focus exclusively on the chronically homeless, and that's the unaccompanied male or female that lives on the streets and have been homeless for quite some time. We have a tremendous experience with this population, and I can promise you that when you live on the streets of anywhere USA, it will drive you crazy. And it in upon itself is a level of trauma that's beyond anything that you and I can really ever experience. And this is coming from someone that has spent about 300 nights on the streets with our friends. And this issue is totally mitigatable.
The Secretary and I met about this issue, I think in February or thereabouts, over at his office. And we all know what's going on. In my opinion, it's not good. The Austin City Council needs to look at the city of Austin and decide if we want to solve this problem the right way, working together to do it and to work with organizations that can do it, instead of turning this into a politicized circus in downtown Austin, where the homeless community, frankly, are not safe. It's not good for the homeless community.
People ask me still, after 4.5 years, what has surprised you about being at Haven for Hope? And I say two things. One, it's more complicated than I ever could have imagined. Not just Haven for Hope, but the homeless issue itself is so complex. And then the second thing, and ties for the first, is the amount of mental health issues on those that are homeless. And Alan said it well. A person who's normal, whatever that is, if they lose their home, that's a trauma that they won't overcome for a long time. Whatever trauma it is that they've experienced lately or long ago.
If I could touch on one point in your last question, and that is the efficacy of providing behavioral health care services to people who are unsheltered is virtually impossible. To try and keep somebody on a treatment path when they are living on the street with the trauma that occurs with that and all of the different implications. Where am I going to find my next meal, a bathroom, a place to get out of the rain or cold? Trying to keep someone on a behavioral health or physical health regimen or case management plan is extremely difficult.
Our building for the Texas Public Policy Foundation is 2 blocks from here. Like Congressman Roy, I lived in Austin in the 90s, and it was a different place. And it was a place that was safe, including at 2 o'clock in the morning. You might ask, how do I know that? Well, I was in college. It was a place that businesses didn't have to worry about, and it's very different. And I don't, even though I'm a conservative, although I lead a nonpartisan think tank, I don't celebrate that 20 years of governance by the left has caused that. Although leading a think tank, I have to call a spade and say that's what's happened. The result is, and this is the most important thing, is that when our employees leave our building after dark, but sometimes even in the middle of the day, this is no longer a safe place to be. I lament that for civil society. That is a problem that shouldn't concern just Democrats or Republicans or liberals or conservatives. It ought to embarrass us as Texans. And I can tell you that that problem is happening in almost every city in Texas. And so as Texans, regardless of where we are in the political spectrum, that's a significant problem. And then to move into the second, or the first question you asked, but do it second, I would say that at the foundation, what we do is sort of what I've done today is listen to everyone's comments and take a step back and call a spade a spade. We do what I like to call reading reality truthfully, even if that truth is ugly. And the truth on this is no longer a safe place to be. And our policy when it comes to homelessness has failed that. And I'm not just casting fingers at people on the left. We failed as conservatives when we're forgetting the personal obligation we have personified by Alan.
And I can promise you that when you live on the streets, it in upon itself is a level of trauma that's beyond anything that you and I can really ever experience.
And our friends here.
The amount of mental health issues on those that are homeless. And Alan said it well. A person who's normal, whatever that is, if they lose their home, that's a trauma that they won't overcome for a long time.
We all know what's going on. The homeless community, frankly, are not safe.
Let's just agree as liberals and conservatives across this country, starting in this city, that we're no longer going to politicize this issue. And let's think about the dignity of people. Like my homeless friend Michael, I meet when I go into the Catholic Church 1 block from here. He's been homeless for 10 years. Or our friend at Texas Public Policy Foundation, Marty. We can't get Marty stable enough to go into a program long term. Those are the people we're failing. but we're also failing our own kids and grandkids by not having the civil courage as a people to stand up and say, regardless of whether Republican or Democrat, members of the media, we're going to fix this problem.